squatting down so you can fit them into a shape.
You know what I see?
What do you see?
Salmon moon.
Salmon moon. All right. You're going to have to explain that one in a minute, all right? But you have elder eyes. You see things we're trying to catch up to see with you. So I really want to know what she sees, but let me explain this and then I want you to tell me what you see, okay? Show me what you see, all right? So, and can you see two eagles on the side of the person? An eagle here.
I thought they were salmon.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, the way the designs are made, like here, it could look like a salmon. And then, but you had to add the feathers, the tail, the feet, the claws, the sharp beak. So they're eagles. But at the bottom, what is that?
Salmon.
That's a salmon. There's a salmon at the bottom. So this one kind of says, in my interpretation, the salmon gives me life, it feeds me, it's the foundation of our world. The eagles protect me. The eagles are wrapped around him, protecting him. And so there's two eagles, and a salmon, and a human being. Now, can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, pretty clear, right? All right, good. Again, the easy part is learning to see these things. The more difficult part I'm going to go into right now. Actually, I'm going to do one more simple part. Can you see circles in this design? See circles? The whole design itself is a circle. That makes it very simple. Inside you can find some circles in the eyes, so there's circles. How about trigons? These trigons represent feathers coming down. And there's trigons inside the salmon, or the bone pattern of the fish. And then, can you see crescents? There are only a few. Notice the shoulder of the bird kind of showing the shoulder, the curve, the eyebrows of the person, and the jaw of the eagle. There's a crescent there too. So, there's the shapes, right? Now, I'm going to show you something right now that I saw. I studied these designs. These are old designs I had to study. I learned and I studied and watched and learned. And I'm going to show you something that is hidden, but it's right in front of you. It is something your eye sees, but your brain hasn't figured it out yet. And I'll explain what that means in a few minutes too. Your eye sees what I'm going to show you, and it's going to be as clear as day, but your brain hasn't figured it out. I didn't see what I'm going to show you for over a year. When I first saw this design, started copying it and studying it, I didn't see what I'm going to show you for over a year. So if you didn't see it in 2 minutes, then don't worry, it took me a whole year, all right? So, and I have to apologize to the carvers because I'm going to start teaching them some stuff backwards, all right? The carvers say, no, you're teaching it wrong, you're teaching it all backwards. Well, sometimes you have to teach it backwards to get it across. So I'm going to make, I can make a number of shapes, but I'm going to make a, I'm going to make a shape along right there, like I started to show you. Right here, I'm going to make a crescent, a flat crescent. One side's curved, one's not so curved, that's okay, it's still a crescent, a slice of a circle. I'm going to make another one here. Then I'm going to make a trigon here. I'm just going to follow the shapes that are there. Then there's a trigon here. And remember, the shapes don't touch each other, so I have to very carefully line them up. So hopefully what you can see is... Can you see a white hand between the blue shapes? And can you see the hand I was showing you right here? It's right there.
I saw the hand right away, but I didn't think you were...
Well, good.
I don't know why. I didn't say anything, but I saw it and I thought
Okay.
it was your hands.
Well, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Some people can see it, and you did, and that's good. Other people don't see it for a while. And I'll show you a couple other examples of that in a minute, all right? Can you see the other hand and the other eagle over here?
Yeah.
So now that you see them and they've been pointed out to you, they're pretty clear, right? They're right there. But why didn't we see them, except for a few people that saw them? Why didn't we see them right away? And that's what made me start to think about how these designs are made. We were so busy, and I was so busy looking at the shapes, I didn't see what was between the shapes.
Negative.
Negative space, that's right. And I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to draw 8 trigons, all right? So I made 8 trigons. You can see them, right? But did I make another shape in there? Have I made another shape in my design?
Yes.
What is it? You see a circle. But think about it. I didn't make a circle.
No.
I made 8 trigons. So how did I get a sun design or a circle when I didn't make a circle? I made trigons. How did I do that? The negative space. An artist knows this language, but I want you to learn it, all right? Whenever we make shapes, something happens, and we put the shapes together. So let's say I'm going to take a triangle, a circle, a square, and a blob, and I hook them all together. Can you see between my shapes there's space? See that space between my shapes? That space has a name. Now the shapes themselves we call positive shapes. Those are the shapes I'm making. And that's all these trigons, I would call them positive shapes. But between those shapes, there's a space. And that space is called negative space. It's a space between my shapes, and that's all this circle is the negative space. It is a space between my shapes. And we live in a culture that does not teach us how to see negative space. And I'll show you a couple other examples in a few minutes. So this kind of design then is based on the shapes and what's between the shapes. So, I'll show you, hold on a second. So this artist went like this. Or I designate this out. So they made a real skinny crescent, 1 trigon, 2 trigons, 3 trigons, and then they made a different trigon like this. Notice how I'm coloring them in. If I didn't color them in, they'd just be lines. And a line is not a shape, and you can't see between lines, and so I always encourage people to color in these shapes. So all this artist did was make 1, 2, 3, 4 trigons and 1, 2 crescents. But by the way they lined them up, can you see a hand in there? You can see a white hand between the blue shapes. Alright? So let's make this hand together really fast. I'll show you how to do it. I call this exercise drawing the hand by not drawing the hand. Alright? And it doesn't make sense, but art doesn't always make sense, but it works. Okay? Trust the artist, right? Trust the artist. We know it's going to work. It just doesn't make sense. So, the first thing on your paper I want you to do, don't make it really big, don't make it really tiny, make it kind of medium size, is to make a curve like you're going to make a crescent. Come on, make mine a little bit longer. And then the inside line, the connecting line here, is almost straight. A little bit of a curve, but it's almost straight. And then I color it in. I have to make it through a shape, so that's why I colored it in. And then my shapes don't touch each other, but they have to line up for this design to work. And this other artist said, notice how these shapes come to a little point, don't they? There's a point there. So he called them tension points. He said, go like that, point, point. Make a little dot like that. And that little dot becomes the beginning of my first skinny trigon that goes almost halfway down my crescent and back up again. So I made a skinny V, and then I close the top, and I color it in. This is when George David said, you don't know what it's all about, you're teaching us that. That's not right. We call that the positive shape, not the negative shape. Okay, carve this, calm down. All right, so now our next shape. I'm going to do the next two together. You can watch me do this. Point, point. My second one, about the same size and length, down and back up. Point, point. My third one. And then I color them in. So go ahead and do that. So these three are about the same.